Hey guys, welcome back to Puff It Louder, and welcome back to Charade Maniacs with Futami. He's in basically jail. The entire group thinks that he is the producer. Senna doesn't think that he's the producer. She is under the... I think the way that she's thinking is that she is under the thought process that he is the sponsor, which I agree with. I think that he is not... It's just that he's been really aggressive about how much he wants to be, like, accused of being the producer, you know? And that alone makes me doubt that he is. The way that I would equate it to is kind of just like, when you think of somebody who's trying to be something that they're not, so they talk a big game, but they're kind of like overcompensating. And that's kind of the way that Futami's been coming off to me. And I feel like what Senna's thought process is, like, even though I usually don't trust Senna a lot of the time, I agree with her for the most part. So right now, we're with Chigasaki, and Chigasaki is saying, like, oh, I've had a feeling that this was going to happen all along, which that's a whole other topic. I'm really curious about him, but I don't know. I'm still debating on who we want to go for next after this, because I think we're coming up to the end of Futami's route. But let's just try to get Futami out of solitary confinement, because that's where he is currently. Let's go.
あなたを選び引き込もうとしたのは絶対に理由があるはずです。きっとあの人も自分の気持ちに気づいていないだけだと僕は思うんです。
Thanks. Oh god, is he just hanging out in this room? I thought he was hanging out in like the pod room, which is a little bit nicer, but this room is a little he's just sitting on the couch, like. Chigasaki let me through, and I arrived at the rooms deep inside the meadows. The area was already dark, and I looked for Futami by only the light of the moon and the stars. Is he just sitting on the floor? No. Okay, no, he has to be on the couch, right? No? Is he really here? There's nothing but rubble. I walked along the wall and considered calling to him. Will he respond if I call out? He's quarantined here because of me, after all. He might ask why I'm here. It was so dark that I didn't notice the uneven ground, so I lost my balance. Oh! Right when I thought I would fall, something strong pulled me up by the arm.
間一髪なんで名前を呼ばない？呼ばれるのを待っていたんだが。
Bruh. He was just staring at her this whole time. That's so creepy. Were you waiting for me?
ああ。暗くて怖いから助けてと言ってくれないもんかと。
Bruh. The moon is bright, so it isn't that dark.
これだからな。たまには器用なところも見せた方が男は喜ぶぞ。
Futami, would you feel happy if I did?
さあ。
He let go of my arm and then held my left hand by the fingertips.
わからないな。俺はお前が会いに来てくれただけで、これ以上ないくらい嬉しいから。
Wow, laying it on thick already. When he said that, the first thing that I felt was joy instead of suspicion. I also wanted to see you.
正気か？俺はプロデューサーなのに。
Joy and an incoherent sort of sadness mixed together inside of me, so I tried to shake it off. I am sane.
そうは見えないけどな。
I am, so hear me out. I want you to tell everyone that you're not the producer.
そんなつまらない話をしに来たのか。
Okay. It's not stupid. I want you to tell the truth. Please don't lie to me anymore. There was a long pause. Either he was looking at my reaction or he was thinking about something. I couldn't tell which, but then Futami quietly asked a question as if to test my conviction.
なぜ？
Because I like you. I want to know the truth.
プロデューサーは悪い人なんだろ？お前は悪人を好きになるのか？
But Futami, you aren't the producer. I was sure of it, and even more so after hearing about what Chigasaki had said. You're not the producer, but the sponsor. Futami's lying again. He's definitely a traitor, but he's the sponsor. That's my answer.
何を根拠にそんなことを
Futami, if you were the producer, there would be zero benefit in you revealing that you were the producer. I want to be with you, Futami. If you hate the real world and found meaning in this one, and if that is the result of who you are now, then I want to save you. So that you can believe in something other than the producer. He laughed coldly and stopped talking. Maybe it was because I said it the wrong way. I was desperate to let him know what I thought, so maybe my emotions got way too far ahead, but Futami took out something from his pocket while I was thinking. A ring? Oh, he finished the ring!
一人でいると暇だな時間を持て余してたまらないだから指輪もすぐにできた
Oh no! No! Oh no! Oh, that's kind of sad. Oh.
欲しいか
The gentle moonlight gave the ring a dull glimmer. The beautiful arc had a shape similar to the moon. Just like that day, I knew this was a choice that I couldn't take back. I want it. I nodded without hesitation. Futami then sat me down there while smiling. We sat down and faced each other as he put the ring on my middle finger. The ring fit unbelievably well on my finger. Futami then quietly kissed the ring. Whoa, okay.
捨てることになると思った
But it's mine now, right?
いや俺のだ
Okay. He grabbed my left hand, and I thought he would kiss my wrist. Oh! The next kiss came on my neck. Picture get? Okay.
全てを俺に預けてくれるんだろ
That's not what I meant. I still belong to myself.
でもお前は俺を選んだ命じゃなく俺を
Yochi?
ここにキスされただろ何度もこうやって
Oh, gosh, I forgot about that. Oh, Lord. Yes, but that was part of the drama.
俺にはマーキングに見えたけどな腹の立つやつだよ本当に
Dork?
俺には渡さないと画面越しに言われたようで
Is that jealousy?
この状況この体勢でよく言えるな誰も助けに来ないぞ
I won't ask for help because I'm here to help you, Futami.
そういう話かキスだけで済むとでも思ってるの
Whoa. As long as you listen to me, as long as you only have eyes for me, I don't mind.
それはないな
What? What? Oh, that was the CG? Okay, it was just their hands. Futami went over me and repositioned himself to sit down. Just like previously, he helped me up like a gentleman. Not possible?
お前が俺を選んでも俺はお前に何も与えられないその指輪以外は前にも言っただろ俺はお前のものにはなれないあの人がいる限り俺はお前を選べないんだよ
Oh. Wow. So, is he saying I'll always choose the producer over you? You'll always be number 2 in comparison? Like, that's rough to hear. That person? You mean the producer? He didn't answer. He didn't answer, but that was an answer in itself. Why? What do you like about the producer so much? Is it so important to you that you would throw away the world and the other side and all the other connections you have?
そうだな特別だから
Oh my god. But if you continue to lie, everyone will die. Futami, you and everyone else too. Or are sponsors special? Did they promise not to give you a dead end?
そんなわけないだろ スポンサーもキャストの一員だ。異世界配信のルールに納得したやつしかスポンサーにはならない。
You agreed to that to become a sponsor? You voluntarily joined in the Otherworld stream when you could die? What do you have to gain from being a slave to the producer like that? This is all wrong.
そう思えるのはお前が恵まれているからだよ。
Blessed? Family, friends, a happy daily life, those are truly irreplaceable and I would never trade them for anything. If that was what he meant by blessed, then does it make it right to throw people away just because they're blessed? Futami's expression changed after I asked him that. Me and everyone else, you don't care if we die. Akase too. You just let us die like that? The hint of kindness vanished from his eyes, and he looked out to somewhere in the distance.
恵まれている人間を俺が切り捨てたんじゃない。恵まれている人間がそれ以外の人間を切り捨てているだけだ。博士の態度がずっと気になっていた。いつも自分が正しいという顔で誰もの模範になった気でいる。
We're about to learn a bit about Akase right now.
いつかお前が声を失った時、あいつは限られた人間だけでここを脱出しようとしただろう。
Oh. I couldn't ask him about why he knew. Only the handful of people who joined in on that escape knew about that.
正義の味方ぶりながら限られた人間だけで助かろうなんて浅ましい。正論と公平さばかり持ち出すくせに自分は夜こそこそと抜け出して優位に立とうとしていた。
That's because that wasn't Akase's intention.
そんなつもりじゃなかった。自分が正しいと信じる奴らは必ずその言葉を口にする。俺だって使うさ。自分を正当化したいんだ。言い訳にするには一番簡単だからな。
Okay.
でもそうやって正義を信じる奴らがいつだってつまはじきの人間を作る。一人になりたくないから一人のやつを作るんだ。そうすれば自分が一人じゃないってよくわかるだろう。自分が幸せだってよくわかるだろう。
I could sense just how emotional Futami was by being next to him. And honestly, I can see where he's coming from with that too. Because I feel like Akase, his route was hard for me to really like because of the way that he comes off, where he's kind of like, he tries to play hero all the time, and it doesn't feel genuine. So I totally get what he's trying to say. And especially his line where he talks about the people who are, let me look at what he said here, where it's like, people who believe in justice like that create people who are ostracized, and they create people who are alone because they don't want to be alone themselves. Like, when they put themselves on a pedestal like that, they're only focusing on the end goal and they're not focusing on the people lagging behind them. And so they don't realize that not everybody is following along. And it's not necessarily like Akase meant to do that. So I don't think this is necessarily a dig on Akase, but Futami sees Akase in a different light because he's seeing it in an outsider's perspective, where he's seeing the people who are lagging behind, like when Senna didn't have her voice, and he's saying, hey, this guy is trying to get ahead. Like, he doesn't see Akase's sense of justice as someone being helpful. He's seeing it as somebody trying to get ahead of something and leaving the people who are disadvantaged behind. Now that he's mentioned it, I can totally agree with him. Like, I can see that perspective now. Like, I don't think that Akase is a bad person, and I do not think that Akase meant to do that. But I think if Futami told him that, I can totally understand why Akase was crashing out. Because that entire sense of, like, justice and that entire hero persona is everything that Akase has built his personality on. So then all of a sudden when you take that away, what has Akase got left to work for? You know, what will Akase do moving forward? If you're pushing him to basically reconfigure his entire way of thinking how does he move forward? It's a very nuanced conversation. And I don't know if other people agree too. Like, I feel like a lot of people would probably defend Akase and say that Futami is like 100% wrong. But I can definitely see like the argument made here where Akase's personality is not one for leadership. What he said couldn't just be directed at Akase. It sounded like a grudge directed at things from his past. But no matter the reason, Futami's alone right now because of that. Futami is alone. He's ostracized by everyone's sense of justice. Whether or not he realized that, Futami's voice returned to its usual suppressed tone.
どっちにしろ、俺はあいつに選択を与えただけだ。
That's another thing too. Like, everybody in this group, the biggest thing that I think has been consistent throughout all of the routes that I kind of mentioned before, maybe offhandedly, is that I've said during conflict, why is nobody stepping in? Why is nobody saying, like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you guys picking a fight right now? Like, we are all in this together. Nobody ever stepped up for anybody who was being ostracized. Nobody ever stepped up for anybody who was being picked on. And when people were alone, nobody went and like reached out to them ever. And I feel like that is the biggest flaw in any type of group setting, where if you want a group to work, regardless of if it's for work, if it's for friendships, if it's for this type of crazy situation where you have a producer and whatever, the biggest thing is cohesion and harmony and stuff like that. And if you don't have anybody who's making sure that the group stays together and doesn't just fight all the time and stuff, then it's not going to work. So like with this Futami thing that happened, with everything else that happened, it was so weird. Everybody, they still do not trust each other, and they still just, nobody's ever cared enough, like shown any type of empathy, really. Senna lost her voice and they're like, oh, that's too bad. And Akase immediately was like, oh, we should just find a rescue team and we'll just try to leave before she can recover. So we'll just try to figure that out. And nobody was like, that's gonna kind of come off wrong. If somebody had said that, then it wouldn't have come off as bad, and then Futami wouldn't have had this thought process, you know? And then same thing with Futami's whole situation, where when Futami dead-ended Akase, I feel like it could have been a much quicker resolution if it wasn't a constant battle of, what the fuck were you doing, blah, 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 and then they just didn't talk to each other for days. And then Iochi's over here tapping people's bangles and stuff. It's just, why does everything have to be shady? Why can't we be upfront, you know? Anyway, I'm just ranting.
あいつが立ち向かうことができなかったのは、あいつが自分の正しさを信じられなかったからだろう。
Yeah, that's kind of what I suspected.
あるいは、そこに正しさなんてなかったからだ。
Watching him ramble made me sad that this was what it was about in the end. That's why you let him die.
お前がそう思うならそうなんだろうな。どちらにしても、伊内さんの言う通り、起こってしまった事実に変わりはない。今さらポイントを貯めて協力しましたと言ったところで、無視のいい話だ。
But if you honestly apologize, I think Iochi and Akase would understand. However, that requires bringing Akase back to life.
そうか？俺は俺を許してやるつもりはないな。人を死の淵に追いやったのなら、自分もその淵に顔を突っ込んでおけと言いたいよ。俺は心が狭いから。
Is this a murder confession? Futami grinned as he moved his face closer to mine.
どんな日より、あの人は俺みたいな強量な人間でも許してくれるんだ。どんな状況でもフェアだし、どんな人間でも受け入れてくれる。それが俺の一番欲しかったものだ。許されないのは異世界配信に反するものだけ。演技をしないキャスト、異世界を壊すキャスト。 エンターテインメントに反するものは排除する。けれどそうでなければ与えられる全てのものを与えてくれるんだ。わかりやすいし寛大だろ。そこにはあの人自身の感情はないんだ。より好みなんか存在しない。スポンサーが他のキャストと同じように死のリスクを負うのもそういうことだ。他人を生死のゲームに放り込むつもりなら自分自身も同じ立場に立たないとな。じゃないとフェアじゃない。どこまでも公平なこの世界の主が決めたルールだよ。
Help.
素晴らしい世界だと思わないか。おかげでこの世界はこんなにも平和だ。争いが起こるのはドラマの中だけで、異世界人は誰もが平等に穏やかに暮らしている。まさに理想郷アルカディアだ。あの人が俺に理想の世界をくれた。
Oh my gosh.
その世界とその世界に住まう人間のためなら俺は何でもしてやるよ。
All his compliments left me with nothing to say. Moreover, it was Futami that didn't allow me to interrupt. I looked for the right words to say, but then Futami stood up while still holding my hand.
俺からの返答は以上だ。そろそろ帰った方がいい。見張りが交代する時間になる。通してくれたのは茅ヶ崎だろ。あいつ以外はそう簡単にはいかないはずだ。あいつも何を考えているか知らないが。
But I...
またおいで、待ってるから。お前は俺を救ってくれるんだろ。
And I guess we're gonna stop here. Oh god. He's a little scary, huh? Okay. So, I was agreeing with you, Futami. Every single time I agree with Futami, he goes and does something absolutely scary. Every time. But I don't understand. So, I don't know. But, So, I guess next episode, I guess we're gonna try to save Futami. Oh god, Futami, why can you not make this easy? Why does everything have to be difficult with you? Oh my lord.